Hello, Susan Young here. In today's video, we're going to have an interview with Brad Long and myself. And this interview is about financial goals for 2021. And stay tuned. My name is Susan Young, and we have here Brad Long. Right, Brad?
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
We're here for an interview, and we're going to go over some financial goals today. So I thought I'd start out with some questions that I put together.
Great. Shoot them. Shoot them out.
Okay.
Hit me with your questions.
Okay, the first question is, what are your feelings about don't keep up with the Joneses?
Great. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And for those of Susan's audience who don't know me, I'm Brad with Zero Debt Coach, and I'm a financial coach that helps people organize their finances, get on a budget, get out of debt, and then move on to hopefully financial independence. And yes, that's a great question. What are my feelings about don't keep up with the Joneses? I think that obviously, that's a very common, that statement has been in our, culture for probably more than 50 years now. And I think it's actually gotten worse. I definitely agree with don't keep up with the Joneses, because the Joneses are kind of a straw man. They're kind of a figment of our imagination, but at the same time, they're very real because they're our neighbors and our friends. And when they get something new, we feel like that we need to get something new as well. So I feel like, yeah, to try to keep up with the Joneses is just as bad as you would think it is. And I would definitely say don't do that. And the way that you don't do that is to make sure that you've gotten your finances organized and that you're living on a budget. So that's what I would say to that.
That's good. Let's go on to question number 2. Okay, how can they prepare for the new normal when COVID-19 is over?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So depending on what their financial situation is, hopefully they're employed. So in that case, most of our students, one of the first things that we do is, help them to get their finances organized, which actually can be really, really difficult enough as it is. So that's basically sitting down and doing what I call an everything I owe exercise, where we list out all of their expenses, all of their bills, and all of their debts into one centralized location, one piece of paper, one form, whatever. And then we put that into a written budget. And then from there, we start, addressing debt and things like that. But I think that, one of the things that has really come to light in this pandemic era is that you have to have, an emergency fund. And we used to recommend the baby emergency fund of $1,000. We're now recommending anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 for that. So depending on what your situation is, depending on, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you lost your job, or, you're at the place where you're looking at debt consolidation or bankruptcy, it's just it can be very, very complicated. So that's when it's really good to reach out to, a financial coach or someone that that knows how to handle money, to look at, all right, well, this is my situation. How do I make sense of it? How do I organize it? And then how do I get on a budget and start addressing some of those things? So preparing for the new normal is getting as much cash in your hand as possible and getting out of debt as fast as possible.
That sounds like good advice. Well, let's go on to number 3. Do you offer a way to build up a social network for hard times, maybe like on Facebook or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our platform, zerodebtcoach.com, we basically have two distinct options for community. We have a free private Facebook group community it's called Zero Debt Tribe. And so that's where I push out a lot of my content that's aimed toward, again, financial organization, budgeting, addressing debt, paying down debt, making lists of expenses or keeping track of your expenses. And so that's available to the public for free. You just basically can go to our website or go to Facebook and request to be a part of that. And then a couple of times a year, I open my private financial coaching community called Zero Debt Plus, the Zero Debt Plus private financial coaching community. And that's a community of basically our financial coaching students that have recognized that, okay, I need a little bit more proximity. I need exclusive teaching. So we do a monthly masterclass there. We do basically a monthly financial coaching call. So basically a group coaching call where we go through the financial coaching masterclass and then answer, we do a Q&A session after that. And then the third element of that is a Facebook-like coaching community or a community element where people can come in and share their wins, share their struggles, share different situations that they're looking for different insights on. And the good thing about that community is it's not on Facebook, so it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot less distracting. And so, yeah, there are two offerings that we have for that. There's our free private Facebook community, Zero Debt Tribe, and then our Zero Debt Plus private financial coaching community. And that's actually closed at right now. I only open that a couple of times a year. So if you want to get on the waiting list for that, you can just go to our website and do that.
I also have a private Facebook page and group that I just recently started up. So any
good.
shopaholics that want to get together and chat, they can do that.
Great. I need to get in that group as well. I'm sure that would be really, really good and helpful.
We can put the links for all these in at the bottom, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll move on. Let's say number 4, how can we show grace under financial pressure? How and what do you feel they can do to survive?
Yeah, so it is difficult when you are, either you've lost your job or you've been furloughed or laid off, and maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck. It's really difficult to show, grace under financial pressure, and that's when I think it's really, really important to have a plan in place, to have a support network. Again, going back to your private Facebook group, my private Facebook group. To have a coach, to have a mentor, to have a community of people that you can come around to say, look, this is a situation that I'm in. I'm really under a lot of financial pressure right now. I don't know what to do. And that's okay, because if you know my story, I paid off $43,000 worth of consumer debt back in 2004. It took me 2.5 years to do that. And I reached a breaking point in my own story. So I was very, very much under financial pressure, and I was worried about my very survival. And so it's when I, discovered these principles that, Susan and I now teach, that helped me survive, that helped me make sense of my situation, helped me get on a plan, get on a budget, address my debt. And ultimately, I was able to get out of that $43,000 worth of consumer debt in 2.5 years. So the answer really is, if you're under financial pressure, don't feel like you have to go it alone. Reach out. There are plenty of people in this personal finance blogosphere or content or, YouTube. There are plenty of people that are willing to help you. So don't isolate, just reach out for help.
Yeah, they need all the support they can get. Okay, question number 5. What are your feelings to save, save, save?
I love saving. I think that that's something that's really immensely missing in our culture and our society. And I think the statistic that I always run to when I'm, teaching students or creating content is there's 78% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck. And now this is all pre-COVID, so it might even be worse, now it might even be a higher percentage. And so we've developed a culture in our country where, as you were talking about, is, keeping up with the Joneses. I would actually argue that it's really keeping up with the Bill Gateses at this point, because everything has become, so luxury oriented, and you got to have the next bigger car and the next bigger house and all the luxury artifacts. So it's not in our DNA as a culture to save as it was, 3 or 4 generations ago. So I think that anything that you can do to, again, it's not a little bit like a broken record, but, to organize your finances, get on a budget, look at, start addressing your debt, figuring out how you can get that paid off so that you can then, once your debt is paid off, increase your savings rate. That's kind of another element to save is once you've gotten out of debt, there's so much more you can do with those dollars in terms of increasing your savings rate. In other words, living on even less than what you make. And so always trying to increase, that savings rate. And that's what my wife and I did over the past 5 years. We increased our savings rate. We started off over 50%. And then I think four out of those 5 years, we were above 70%, and we're about at 80% at one point. So it's totally possible. Those may be crazy numbers to most people, but it's totally doable. And even if you're saving 10 or 20%, I mean, that's more than most people are saving right now. So start somewhere.
You have to think of your future for money for retirement also, right?
That's right.
Like not like me, where I wait to the last minute.
Well, better late than never, right?
Yeah, I make pretty good money, so I could save until till the time I retire. So
yeah, it's good. It's important.
Okay, let's see. Move on to number 6. Should we give back if we can? There's a lot of people that are in need right now, and should we reach out to them and help them, or should we think of ourselves at this time with COVID going on?
Yeah, I think that generosity is, as a Christian, I think that generosity is absolutely, something to live by in our lives. So I think it's a little bit complex of an issue, because it's very difficult to help people financially when you're struggling yourself financially. Right. And so I think the place to start in terms of generosity is just being sort of available for people that are hurting and that are suffering, and allowing them to sort of talk through their situation, and offering encouragement and support in that way, emotionally, as a friend, as a counselor. So that's one aspect of generosity. And then the other aspect of generosity also is obviously the financial piece of that. So if you do have, you're on your way to being out of debt, or you've gotten control over your finances and you have some surplus, it's always a good idea to, look at allocating some of that for people that are in more need. Now, I will say that as a financial coach for over a decade, and being involved in benevolence ministry in different churches and things like that, you have to be really careful about that as well, because as if you consume Susan's content, that there are people that have shopping addictions or other types of addictions that may be sort of an underlying cause for the situation that they're in. So you want to use discernment. And these are great ways to, as you're getting involved in Susan's Facebook community or my Facebook community, or both, to reach out to say, hey, I have this situation that I'm working through. This is a perfect example of that, where this person is in need, but they have this, and this. What would you guys do? And I think that it's always good to sort of have that lifeline. So generosity, absolutely, but generosity with discernment.
I know on Twitter, I had someone approach me and say they said they didn't have money for food, and they had kids, and I didn't know what to do to help him, but I was kind of in a hard, I couldn't help him myself because I didn't have the funds to help him.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
And that's not always, I think especially with random people, reaching out to you on on the internet, it can be really tricky, and so I don't think that the default response should always be to give someone, money. I mean, that may not be the best, solution for them in that moment. So I think that's why I kind of fall back to, you just have to be discerning. For me as a coach, that's when I go in and ask things about, what's your household income? How much debt do you have? Are you living on a budget? Are you actively looking for work? If you're not working, like, just unpack the situation a little bit more, because in certain situations with a lot of, ministries in our church's benevolence ministry, we'll offer a one-time gift if it's something that we've discerned is a legitimate need. But if there's an ongoing aspect to that, we'll require them to kind of sit down with, a financial coach and go through their situation, because we just want to make sure that there's not, some kind of addiction or, shopping addiction or drug addiction or any of those kinds of things that are underlying, that are causing them to go. And I'm not saying that that's, the case with this lady. I mean, there are legitimately a lot of people that are having a hard time right now, but I think that, we as, sort of leaders and people that are in this space have to be very careful in discerning. And it's not always the best thing to just throw money at a problem. And I think our government is probably a great example of that.
well, what I did was I found a food shelter nearby them and told them this is where you can go for your food.
Beautiful. Yeah,
That's
that's
what
great.
I led them to do, I
Yeah,
mean, how I helped them,
yeah, that's perfect. It's a great third alternative.
because I know there's a lot of food banks out there, or food,
Yeah,
what do you call those? I mean,
yeah. I think yeah, food banks. Yeah, there are a lot of resources out there, a lot of ministries out there as well that are kind of stepping up to the plate, with these in these kind of times. So
well, I only have one more question left. Is basically, have you had any more suggestions about finances to help them out? Any?
yeah, I think that there are a lot of free resources on our blog, as Susan knows very well, and one sort of one resource that I think has been really, really helpful that a lot of our students have been working through is our 1K in 30 days resource. And it's basically just, it's a blog post and it has a free downloadable PDF. And I'll give Susan the link to the blog post there. And that's basically just a way to kind of help people figure out, all right, think in terms of like, how can I get an extra $500 to $1,000 in the door this month, and kind of walks through setting up a very basic budget, goes through about 100 different ideas of how you can save $1,000, how you can cut stuff out of your budget to help find that $1,000, how to go into your attic or your basement or your storage unit to sell stuff to get that $1,000. And it really just kind of primes the pump for getting your personal finances organized on a budget, looking at your debt if you've got that, and devising a plan to get that, eliminated. And really just addressing, the paycheck to paycheck cycle, and also what to do when you can't pay your bills, all of those really, really basic fundamental things in personal finance. If they overwhelm you, that's a great resource to, to kind of plug into. But I would say, yeah, more than anything, what a lot of people need right now is just encouragement, and they need to feel that, they're not alone. So I would say, reach out to Susan, reach out to us, and, ask for help when you need it.
That sounds good. Well, that's all the questions I have. So,
Great.
um,
So how
thanks
do you want?
everybody for joining us in our interview here.
All right. Thanks, Susan. Talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks. How do you like this video so far? If you like this video, hit the like button below. And don't forget to subscribe. Well, that concludes our interview with Brad Long and myself. Check out my website at www.stopbigspending.com and leave me your email address at the Contact Us page on the website, and I will get in touch with you. Now, we have all the different links that we mentioned in the video all down below, so just take a look and find them there. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you on social media and on YouTube.